Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of the NomaskPodcast. We're so happy to be here. And also, I just want to thank you all before we introduce ourselves. Thank you so much for watching the first episode. We're at I think over 70 views now. So you can see it's a slightly different cast tonight, very slightly. Tonight, I am joined by...
I am Miss Worthless.
Yes.
I'm his wife.
It's the missus herself, my better half, my old ball and chain, editor, hair and makeup, animal control, security, manager, the real backbone behind No Mask Games.
He's
the
just
missus herself. And we are also joined by
Ray, the sister.
I'd like everybody to meet Ray. This is the older sister of No Mask Games. Yes, a wild sibling has emerged.
Not again.
Not again.
Yes, a wild sibling.
A wild sibling, yes. There is actually another sibling, yes. I don't know how much you keep up with what's going on in the pop culture world, gaming world, but have you seen the GTA 6 trailer?
You know I have. I thought it was amazing.
It was pretty amazing, right?
I thought it was really cool.
I've seen a little bit of it.
So specifically you, Ray, what did you think? What did you think seeing it? Because of course we're all going to say it was amazing and it was holy shit and it was, of course we're all going to lose our mind about it. But when seeing it like that detailed, what was your first initial reaction?
I was like looking at it and I thought it was really cool and it was different. And when I was watching it, I'm like, it could be a cool movie. It felt more like a movie.
It really did.
Than a video game. Yes. And it felt really nice. And I think I liked the storyline and the way it was. And it's very realistic. Well, I mean,
you get an idea of it.
Yeah, see? Thanks. You get an idea of it.
I think there's going to be a crazy twist at the end.
I feel she's going to betray him. That's what I feel.
Probably. That's what I was thinking too.
Yes, I feel that she's going to be the root of all of his issues, his problems, everything.
Like every woman.
She's the root of all evil.
She will destroy all they've worked for.
I feel she's going to yes, I feel like she'll stab him in the back, take the money and leave because she looks like the type where it's like she did it all for the money. And he's like, what about our love? And she's going to be like, no, don't got time for that, you know?
Don't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's what I feel it's going to be. But the graphics looked really good. And the storyline, and I think it takes place in Florida.
Yeah, it takes place in Grand Theft Auto's version of Miami. They call it Vice City.
Yeah. Yes. And also, I don't know what year it is because I don't think it's modern time.
No, it is.
No, it's modern times.
It takes place now.
It looks like it's kind of like in the 90s. I don't know, but that's maybe the vibe I was getting from it.
No, it takes place now. It takes place in modern times.
It takes place now, but aesthetically speaking, our current times are really like into the 90s, so I could see why you thought that because I got a little bit of that vibe too.
Yeah. See, I was like this, it's in the 90s, and I'm like, oh wow, I like this. And no, it looks like it's fun. It looks like it's going to be fun.
Now, here's something I want to bring up about my sort of hot take about what's going to happen with GTA 6 is, and I already, me and the missus, we already discussed this a little bit, but that's that I don't think that when that game comes out, as anticipated as it is, as much as everyone is losing their mind about it, I don't think right out of the gate that it's going to run smoothly because of how massively detailed it is. and because of how intense like the graphical fidelity is going to be, and also how big the world is going to be, I don't think we're even going to get 60 FPS on console with that game. I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. Like that's my hot take, is that a lot of people are going to be disappointed at first with the performance because it might not look as good on consoles, because they're going to have to really dial it down in order to get it to run. And I'm going to call it now that it's not going to run at 60 FPS on any console, PS5, PS5 Pro, and any version of the Xbox. If it's even going to come out on Switch, it's not going to.
I don't think it's going to come out on Nintendo Switch.
I don't think it's going to come out on Switch, but let's say if by some miracle it does, it's probably going to run like potato.
Fortnite
do you understand?
Doesn't even run good on the Switch.
It's going to be like pure potato. Do you understand? My hot take on it is that it's not going to run well, and that's going to leave a lot of people to make videos and make lots and lots of comments about how in the beginning it's just going to be like this, oh, it's horrible, we can't even get 60 FPS, we waited 20 years. You understand? I think people are going to lose their minds about this. And
there's going to be a lot of updates for it. They're going to put in the beginning all these updates to get it to where I think they want it. And plus, I think it's going to have bugs in it too.
More than likely it'll have bugs. Here's kind of like my take around it is I feel like with any game release, and Nomas knows this because we talked about it already. I feel like with any game release, like let's kind of take Cyberpunk for example, right? This is a game that was in development for how long?
I think
10 years?
I think a little over 10 years. Like the first video on the Cyberpunk YouTube channel goes back to like, I think it was like 2012 or 2013, something like that.
So let's say 10 plus years. And that game, when it came out, was full of bugs. There were graphical issues. There was a lot of stuff. And that's not the only game, but that's just the first game that comes to mind when I think of.
Yeah,
so I think
it was pretty bad. Like a lot of people did complain very bad about it, but then, it took time.
It took time and it got fixed. But I think in today's age, because we're no longer working on, I don't want to say like bit graphics or whatever, but we're no longer working on crappy graphics and things like that. This is like the movie. If you showed it, the game, if you showed it to an old person, they're gonna think that's a movie. You show that 100%. Trailer to someone 60 plus years old, they're gonna think it's a movie and they're gonna be excited for when it comes out. So what I think is I go into it, me personally, expecting, like if I'm playing launch day, launch night, it's not going to be good. I expect that. I expect there to be graphical issues. I expect there to be bugs and things like that and to not have the best frame rate. But that's just me. That's my take.
But see, I feel like that's a very
niche
I don't know if unique is the word to use, but I guess real. That's a very realistic expectation that you have that I don't think 90% of people are going to have when that game comes out. Because when it does come out, everybody that bought a console just for it, everybody that built a PC just for it, everybody that got the PS5 Pro, the $1,000 PlayStation just for it, expecting, like, well, it might be like that, so I'm going to get the Pro version of the PlayStation so I don't have that issue, is going to have that issue, and then their brains are going to melt, and they're going to freak out, and then they're going to send messages to Rockstar and be like, $3 billion in 15 years and however long, and you couldn't even give us 60 yet. You understand? I think that it's a very realistic take you have on there, or expectation that this might not run too good right out of the gate, because this is going to stress any PC or console the fuck out. You know what I mean? With how intense it's going to be in the graphical fidelity and how large the world is and how detailed the world is and how they're going to make it to where you could see the freaking pores on their skin. You could see the sweat coming out of the pores. And it's just like, that there's no way to do that and it not take a heavy toll on your system, no matter what your system is.
Right. What do you think, Ray?
Yes, I think that that's going to happen, but also it's going to be, like waiting to get into the game. Because I remember when GTA 5 came out,
For
because this is
online,
6. Yeah. Online, when you want to go on, it takes so long. In the beginning, it took a long time because
Well, also, I
there,
think
there's a lot of people in.
online launch servers like crashed for GTA
Yes,
5.
yes, they did. And it took a while. It was like we were playing it for like a month and we still couldn't get on any servers. It was very hard to do the online. It took forever. It took 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour. And it's like when you're playing, you got to just sit there and wait. So it's not going to be great as everybody thinks. It's maybe playing the main story, yeah, but everything else is just going to be very it's not going to be good the first time. But then if you give it like 6 months, close to a year, the game will be perfect, I think.
Dude, that's exactly what I think. Is after 6 months to a year, I think majority of bugs will be out.
Yeah.
And actually, you brought up a good point. Is with online, that's also even if we get online, because none of the other GTA's had really an online.
We're not going to get it right out of the gate. They're probably going to do what they did
No.
with 5, which is release the game, wait a couple of months, and then release online.
Hopefully.
They're going to want to give people
Hopefully
time
it'll be
to play through the story and get all that done.
Here's what my fear is though with that. I have a fear of what if Rockstar is going, because at this point, right, with GTA 5 and the newer like consoles and everything, it's no longer called GTA 5 Online. It's just GTA Online. So my fear is what if they force us, if we want to play, together and things like that with friends and everything, what if they force us to just stick in GTA 5 and now that GTA 6 is coming out, it's going to be like story mode only?
I don't think they're going to do that.
I hope not.
I don't know. It could be 50-50.
Really? You think they just might make GTA 6 story only and keep the ball rolling with GTA 5's online?
Probably it could be. It's a strong possibility, but I think if they're putting all that effort and that money and everything in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they worked hard on it. They could also just do where they release it, you do story mode for a while, and then maybe after a little bit they'll do online. But the online is going to be very hard too because it's going to keep crashing, I feel.
Within probably the first, like mainly the first, I want to say week of release, it's probably going to be impossible to get online.
These games, they're just getting harder and harder. And it's like when you have a big game like this, yes, the bigger it is, the more graphics, the more like everything, and it's just getting harder and harder. Like I still feel sometimes they should just leave it simple. I know it's cool to have a game with beyond graphics and everything and like a lot of stuff in it. In a big world, the bigger the world is, also the more it takes in the game. But
right, the more difficult it'll be to load.
Yes.
It's a heavier toll on the system.
Yes, and it doesn't matter what system you have; it's a lot to take in. But I think they should just simplify everything more. They're trying to go bigger and better and everything, and it's just too much sometimes.
Now that's a hot take in itself. Because everyone's always like, we want better graphics, we want better this, we want better that, and you're just like, oh, let's keep it simple.
Yeah, if you keep it simple, I mean, not too long ago, like one of the best graphics I ever seen was Final Fantasy X.
That was a long time ago. That was 20 plus years ago.
God.
Yeah,
that was what, 2001? Okay, so we're going to, that's 24 years ago, sis.
I know. But I mean, it was still really good. We didn't have crashes and things, and everybody was playing and everybody was beating, and it was awesome. Everybody was happy. They kept it simple.
I don't know. That's actually a really good point of how is it that game did not look bad at all. That game looked amazing. And the cutscenes were amazing, and it was a very massive world, a very long game for the time that it came out in, and there was no performance issues at all. Very good question.
And see,
And
that's what I'm saying. Just keep it simple.
Well, speaking of keeping it simple, do you know about Schedule 1?
No.
So
Schedule 1's that drug game, right?
Yeah,
the new one that came out.
Schedule 1 is an indie game on Steam right now. It's basically like this like this funny kind of like comical, like almost like kind of South Park take on like drug dealing simulator, right? So it's this drug dealing sim, and it's just like this like funny take on it. And this game has absolutely exploded, just completely dropped a nuke on the gaming world. We're talking 500,000, maybe more concurrent players. Every person and their grandfather who has a YouTube channel, a TikTok, a Twitch, whatever, is playing it. I think I'm the only one trying to be a YouTuber and not playing this game, but not because of any like negative reasons. I just haven't gotten around to it. Now,
I haven't even heard of it, so that makes it two of us. You're not playing it, and I never heard of it.
There you go. So, what I want to talk about with this is Schedule 1 the final nail in the coffin for AAA gaming? Now, why is that the final nail? Let me explain. Going hand in hand and going back to what we were just talking about, how they're trying to do too much. And a lot of the times it often feels like they missed the mark, or they tried to do too much, and whatever they were trying to do in the beginning got lost in all of the stuff, you know. And whoever's watching can disagree with this, but this is how a lot of people feel, is that gaming just isn't the same. And that was the whole point of the first episode of this podcast. Was it's even in the title, gaming just isn't the same. Schedule 1 does exactly what you were talking about just now, Ray, and it simplifies everything. It says, no, we're not going to make this world that's the size of Mars, and we're not going to make the graphics so massively intense that you can't tell the difference between it and a movie. We're not going to have these crazy like ideas and AI and factions. No. This is going to be a funny kind of like lighthearted take on being a drug dealer, and you're like in this like kind of South Park looking world, and you start out kind of just like selling joints all the way up until you could like have like people working for you cooking crystal meth. And it's blowing up because people are fed up with AAA gaming, constantly failing, constantly dropping the ball. Star Wars Outlaws flopped. Skull and Bones flopped. Dragon Age Veilguard flopped big time. What else was a big flop? There've been a lot of games. It's not just those three. I
can mention a few that they wasn't flop, but they made it so impossible to play. Was recently Silent Hill 2 remake. I haven't played. It was wonderful. It was perfect for a remake. It was really good, but they made it so hard that you can't even play it. How hard it is.
Really?
Yeah, it's like impossible. No matter what rating you put it at, easy, hard, normal, it's just they made it more than a challenge. Like you got to be like, you know, Gogeta to play it. And not everybody could like
you gotta be Gogeta. Wow.
Okay. Gotta go Super Saiyan 20 to do it. It's not gonna happen.
Another game.
Then
go ahead.
Another one also was Resident Evil 4, the remake. Masterpiece. Beautiful. They did it so gorgeous. But again, they made it so hard. And recently I was playing it again.
Really?
And I I went off to like 6 months ago. I had a file and I found it and I just replayed it again. And I'm like, let me go off to where I started
where you left off.
Yeah, start where I left off. Yeah. And I'm fighting Krauser and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm dying 10 times. And I'm like, why is this game so hard?
Well, the first one was hard, if you remember. If it
They
didn't,
were hard,
if it
but
doesn't feel
not
like it was hard,
impossible.
I would say it's probably just because at one point you get to a point where you're like so familiar with it, you could just blast right through it.
Yeah, but it's like before they were hard. Yes, they were hard, but the games are so good, and you want to play. You can't enjoy them. The whole point I'm trying to say is you can't enjoy them because they made them so difficult. Instead of just playing the game and enjoying it and wanting to beat it over and over, because I'm the type of person where if I play a game, I have to beat it and get all achievements.
You're a completionist.
But yeah, but the thing is, it's getting harder and harder, and it makes you want to give up on the game. You know,
I
because they made
understand
it so. It's either such a good game, but it's so difficult, or it's such a great something, but then you can't play it because of the graphics or anything, like you were saying.
Or bugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Another game we can mention, Warzone. Warzone was on top of the world. That flopped big time.
God.
Overwatch 2, millions of players all over the world, tournaments,
Yeah.
championships. People became millionaires overnight playing that game. Flopped hardcore. People don't even play it. It got lost in the dust.
No.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, a lot of these, and it's not just these games we're mentioning, it's a lot of games. I'm just thinking right off the top of my head, games that have been recently come out. AAA gaming is just failing at every corner. And the indie market continues to thrive and thrive and thrive and make these simple games that captivate audiences and make millionaires overnight of teams of 2, 3, and 4 people. You understand? A big indie team is like 20 people. You understand? So it's like yet again, Mike and Bob made a game that people have not one bad thing to say about it and have absolutely played it to the, point of just no return. They've played their guts out on the game, and people are losing, the AAA market is losing billions of dollars because they're taking incredible amounts of money to make these games, years to make these games, thousands of people from multiple studios in different parts of the world all have to come together to make this one game. All this effort is put into it. All these sleepless nights are put into it for it to come out, and everybody says, what the hell is this? This is shit. And then here comes Mike and Bob, and they took a year out to make this game, and now they're buying their second yacht. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Well,
so it's an issue, not for us as the gamers. So maybe it is for us as the gamers, because that means that's just more proof that the AAA market doesn't know what it's doing anymore. But it's an issue for them because it's just proof that they've lost the plot and they can't compete against enthusiasts making games versus professionals that have gone to school and have educations and certifications, you understand, to make these games. Well, and a lot of people are saying that this is kind of it, that after so many massive indie successes versus so many massive AAA failures, that this can mark the beginning of the end for AAA gaming, and that there's going to be this crash where there's not going to be any more AAA games, and we're only going to have the indie market because they're the only ones who know how to make a game anymore. Your thoughts and opinions?
I don't think that we're going to never have AAA games and we're only going to have indie games. I think we'll always have both. But the problem is when they make these AAA games, they go all out and they spend a fortune. And sometimes they don't even make half of what they put in, because there's a lot of people that, like, again, the graphics, the things, it's never true to what it is. You're not going to get that sweat dripping off and those pores and everything, the way it shows it.
Right. They don't actually portray the game
they
as
don't actually do that.
Yeah.
And you want that because you're paying for that. And plus, the games now are very expensive. They're like a little over $100 nowadays. And, in the economy that we live in now, that's pretty, that's pretty
it's
expensive.
Steep for a game.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, you used to give $30 a game, and that was like a lot of money back then. But it just got more and more and more expensive over time, which I understand because they're getting more expensive to make. it makes yes, it does make sense. But also, they're putting too much into it, and they're not giving the people what they want really. And the indie games are simplifying themselves, and they're making things more easier and at affordable price and fun, you know. And they're giving you like whatever the graphic is, they give you that graphic. Whatever they promise, they show it.
Unashamedly.
Yeah.
Yes, they show it. It's like,
Unapologetically.
okay, this is the game. This is what we're gonna do, and this is how it is, and this is what's gonna happen. You know, and then before it's like, well, you get the sword if you beat the game 6 times, and then you get the ultimate sword. And this one, it's like you can get the ultimate sword right away. You know,
You get what you
pay
see.
to win. Pay to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, it's just for the indie games are more fun, and they're more cool, and they're more just simplified. And some people want that, and not just every person wants that. Yes, some people do, but there was a game I was playing called like Limbo, and it was an indie
Limbo,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, and Limbo was great. Like it was a shadow game, and it was a side along, and you just jump and you go and you got to dodge these.
Yeah, it's
Ghosts or
a
spirits.
side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah, and it was just so calming. It was relaxing. It was easy. It was hard a little bit, but it wasn't like impossible, and it was just direct and to the point. I think that's more what it is.
Right. I think for me and my take on the whole like indie gaming's taking over the world, it's because indie developers actually listen to their audience.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I think another thing too is that it's also by gamers for gamers.
Or
Do you understand?
yes. Yes.
These games that are coming out nowadays, they're made, or at least maybe they're made by enthusiasts, but they're under the orders of a suit. Do you understand? Some guy who's just an executive at the company, and he don't know the first thing about making a game. He just has to say, implement this because this is what's trending in the current social media circles or the social circles of the world, and the investors want this, so this needs to be implemented. You understand? It can very much boil down to maybe the people making these games are enthusiasts, and this was their dream, and they went to school for this, and they grew up playing all the cool games. But the reality of it is you clock in, you sit down at your computer, and you're told by the higher ups that this needs to be put into the game, this needs to be implemented. And it's just like, these people have no fucking clue, you know, but hey, you got to do it anyway. Do you understand? You're no one to fight against it. You're another cog in the machine trying to go against the suits. Do you understand? And the suits even have their bosses because it's the investors. Because without the investors' money, there is no company. You understand?
Right. And actually, to kind of add to that a little bit is like, I always talk about it. It's my love. Is think of like The Sims really quickly. I'm sorry to digress.
I knew you were going to say that.
The Sims will never die.
No. The Sims is actually on the brick of dying.
On the brick.
They'll never die, believe me.
The Sims 4, right? And even with those who are kind of in development, there's been a couple of people who've actually stepped away from the Sims team and EA and the creators and all of that stuff, right? Because they wanted to listen a little bit more to the audience or like actually be able to like enjoy the game themselves rather than constantly listening to what EA has to say for the Sims and what EA wants to do with the Sims, right? So there's been a couple of people that have stepped away from the company because they said, okay, this is not going anywhere. People are kind of dogging on this game now because the Sims 4 has been around for 15 years, let's just say, and you know, everything is behind a paywall and you don't get the full game and all of these other things.
Let's
right?
release our 50th stuff pack. Do you understand? That'll fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of AAA titles are kind of doing the same thing where, you know, as someone who makes the graphics or someone who makes the background or the story or whatever in any game, you don't really have a say. You just make it. You get told what to do, you shut up and you do it, right? And so people are starting to kind of step away from certain studios and maybe even open their own studios and things like that, to be able to actually give something to the people that the people want. And honestly, me personally, just a little side note, is I'm all for it. I'm screw the big corporations, man.
Right.
Ubisoft needs to die now.
But we need games.
Ubisoft is on borrowed time anyway. Pull the plug now.
What I'm saying is, I guess my point.
It'll all be over. It'll all be over.
Oh, okay. I'll just stop. I'll go in my corner.
No, that's like you holding the pillow over Ubisoft.
Yeah, I knew you were doing. I knew you were. Yeah, like I swear to God, I imagined it. I was like the pillows over Ubisoft and all that. That's what you're doing. I knew it. It's okay. I imagined it.
You had some hits in the past. It's okay.
Go to
the light.
Well, so, what I feel it was kind of like also is like what is that called? Do you remember the movie Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember Grandma's Boy? Okay. So Grandma's Boy, there was this big dweeb that he was the ultimate 2000s gamer.
Comedy about game developers. Miss Worthless.
Yes.
Okay.
And they were game developers, and they played it to see what's right, what's wrong with them. They played it to get the bugs out, all that.
Well, specifically, they were the testers, which testers are just
game testers.
They have to play the game over and over and over and over at every stage of its development, so they can say, "Oh, change this," or "Oh, this is bugged." You understand?
So the main character was making his own game, and Mask. What was it called again? The game he was making.
God knows it was like a knockoff of like something to do with like Predator, like Alien versus Predator or something like that. But like it was so called it had like a stupid name, but like basically it was like it was an alien game that he was making on the side, and everyone kept telling him like, "Oh, this is great, this is a masterpiece."
Yeah, like everybody liked it because he made it. He's a gamer, and he made something that was fun and that was cool at the time, and that was like whatever he felt. He went like a little bit of everybody what they felt, and he felt in his game. But then the big company was developing this game, and it was basically the same game over and over and over. He was making like part 3 of it. You know what I mean? The third one, Eternal Death Slayer 3. I think it was called.
If I remember correctly, I think it was like a parody of like World of Warcraft or something like that.
Something like that.
They kept just like cutting corners at every like launch and every update, and
it's like
people didn't want to play it no more.
The whole point was nobody wanted to play it anymore because it wasn't about the game. It was just he was just doing it for the fame and the money. And it wasn't about the game and what the fans wanted or anything anymore. And like it was like they were like getting to the point where it's like saying it's the same game kind of. Well, let's just change the color of the characters, and it's not
slightly.
The same. Yeah, and it's like okay,
that was actually a scene in the movie where it's like we could save time and money if we just use the same model and change their color.
Yeah, render them different colors.
Well,
and
I think
that was actually from Kane. Said that in the movie.
I think that's actually a good point because I think the developers like AAA titles are no longer looking at, well, what can we do that the fans would like, and what can we do that brings us in the most money as cheaply as possible.
It's not even about what the fans want. It's they lost the doing it for the art of it, doing it for the enthusiasm of it, and it's just become do whatever people are saying is the way to do things now, which the way people want things done versus what people are saying people are being done is two different things. But we do have to move on to the next topic.
Okay.
The TLDR of it could be it's not being done for the love of it anymore.
Yes.
So
I agree. They're not doing it for the love of it. They're just doing it to be doing it.
Yep.
So major news, which I don't know why this has been such a massive topic. I mean, but it's here. We have a new pope now. Pope, what is it? Leo
the 15th or 14th or
14th.
Leo the 14th.
Leo the 14th.
Do you guys know he's from Chicago?
That's
Yeah.
so.
Blessed are
He's
the
from
beef
Chicago,
sandwiches, the holy beef sandwich.
Blessed are the Patillos and
Bless-
the Chicago
yes.
pizza.
Yeah,
Um,
the holy
I
deep
see
dish.
Yeah, they say he's the first American pope in history.
He's American
Wait.
and from Chicago. He
Yep.
keeps that thing on
And,
him at all times.
And I think he looks pretty young. He looks pretty healthy. Looks like we're gonna have him for a long time to come.
He's a healthy old guy.
He's healthy.
Yeah,
He takes his vitamins.
old guy.
He puts his
He's a
robe
healthy
on
old
one
guy.
arm at a time.
Yeah. He looks okay. I mean, I don't know nothing really about him. Like I seen a little bit about him, and it kind of reminds me of the show Euro Trip. When they were saying the Pope is gone, and then like we
The
maybe
Pope
elected
is dead.
a new Pope.
On the
So
span
that's
of a
what
minute.
Yeah, we're watching the history in the making right now. It's like supposed to be weeks, and it took only hours.
I
think it
So-
took like what 2 days.
It was
to elect him.
2 days, and they had him come out and address the people, and he had to bless the people, and the memes are insane. I saw one
Yeah,
because he's from Chicago, where he's like, he's introducing himself to the people, and he's crossing them, and he's saying blessings, and he's talking in Italian, and they put subtitles, and the subtitles are like, God bless everybody except people that live in Wisconsin, and may all Packers fans never see another Super Bowl. Bears win every year. Blessed are the
Oh my
holiest of
God.
deep dish pizzas.
that's so mean.
My man is from Chirac.
Well, I mean, it's history, and it's like finally got an American Pope. So I see, like, it's history. He's up there with like COVID.
You think he
And
wears a
the
Bears jersey under his
beans and
robes?
everything.
Like when he
No, I
finally
think
gets
it's the
into his
Captain America
holy
logo.
Yeah, like he finally gets into his holy chambers, and he's like, "Oh, finally!" And he can take all his, those big heavy robes off, and he's just got like a Jay Cutler jersey.
Oh my God.
But
Well,
the cool aspect for me, the part I like about it, is the fact that he dislikes Vance and Trump. And now, granted, he's never said anything. I think he's just left a couple of retweets and things like that.
Hearing that, I'm gonna look it up now. I've got my other screen up here. I'm gonna look that up because everyone keeps saying that, and I haven't seen anything. The Pope, what is this? New York Times. The Pope appears uneasy with Trump immigration policies. Of course, New York Times wants me to make an account and give my email address and a stool sample.
blood type.
Yeah, blood
Oh,
type.
negative.
Where were you the night Barack Obama was
Abraham
elected?
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln was assassinated.
All right, this is the BBC. The BBC. Hello, love. It's the BBC. MAGA says Pope Leo may be American, but he's not America first. What does that even mean?
I found this really quickly. So he reposted and put a little quote and whatever on it. It was a news article.
Slightly away from the microphone.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It was a news article
about
JD Vance, and it's more Christian, saying it's more Christian to prioritize your family over a stranger. And then the Pope reposted, JD Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others. And everyone's like,
But he's not Christian. He's the Pope. He would be Catholic. It's the Catholic Church.
But regardless, within Christian and Catholic teachings, it's to love each other as equals, not to prioritize one over the other.
Right. Can you repeat what you said? Because my brain shut off for 1 second. What did you say the Vance tweet was? Or whatever X calls it now?
There was a news article that he used it to repost, and the news article says the vice president suggests that it is more Christian to prioritize your family over a stranger, but Jesus wanted us to, and then it's like dots. I don't want to click on it, and the Pope reposted, JD Vance is wrong. Jesus doesn't ask us to rank our love for others, which is true.
We're supposed to love each other all equally.
Was that directed towards Pope Leo? Is that in response to something Pope Leo said? I mean, it couldn't have been something he said as the Pope. He's been the Pope for what, 3 days, 4 days?
No. This was a repost from before he became the Pope. And so it's nothing that was directed towards him. He just found it either online, was told about it, whatever the case is. And he reposted it with his own comment on it, basically. And then there's another aspect here, which is what he reposted. He didn't add any of this. This is just something he completely reposted on his own. As Trump and Bukele use Oval to laugh Fed's illicit deportation of a U.S. resident, once an undocked Salvatorian himself, now DC Ox plus Elivo asks, do you not see the suffering in your conscience not disturbed? How can you stay quiet? He just reposted it.
He said, how can you stay quiet about what?
Because of what Trump and Bukele they're basically deporting U.S. residents and stuff like that.
The whole deportation thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So he made a comment about their deportation
didn't make a
policy.
Didn't make a comment. He reposted somebody else making a comment.
Okay.
Oh, he just reposted. It's on like Twitter.
So I mean that
doesn't on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean that the Pope, the leader of the Vatican, the head of the Catholic Church, has beef with the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States, but he definitely made it known that he doesn't agree with the policy. Is that what it is? Is that what we're
concluding essentially to? And then he himself made another post, and he was talking about Pope Francis. This was back in February. He winded up posting Pope Francis's letter, JD Vance's Ordo Amoris, and what the gospel asks of all of us on immigration.
The Vatican getting caught up in politics. Who would have thought?
Oh, here's another one.
I think my man, he just doesn't care. He doesn't have any fearful bone in his body because my man grew up in the streets of Chirac, okay? My man is strapped up all hours of the day, and he's got a beef sandwich waiting for him in his holy chambers at the end of every mass. He ain't afraid of nothing. What they gonna do, cancel me? He gonna pull that thing out. You know what I mean? I dare them. These bullets been dipped in holy water.
Go ahead and try. You'll sizzle at the sight of them, Trump.
They'll sizzle.
All he has to do is throw deep dish pizzas at them.
Take this, blessed deep dish.
Blessed are the pizza chefs.
I mean, the thing I'm going to say on this is everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It's the freedom of speech. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And maybe he just does. Maybe he feels bad about deporting people. You know what I mean? and maybe he's all about love one another, respect one another, our neighbor, all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and like God taught,
wouldn't
God talked
any
about
pope
it.
be like that, or any type of I wouldn't say
Yeah,
holy
so it
man,
would
but
be kind of,
holy figure, or someone who's
yeah,
Yes,
devoted
but
their
they
entire
yeah.
don't.
life to trying to be as, I guess, living as
I
accurate
think,
to how the Bible says you should live,
yeah, but I
Yes,
think he's
but
more
they don't get
opinion
involved with
about things.
politics.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, a lot of if you go
Oh,
back in time, the
okay.
Vatican Church was involved with a lot of politics and everything. Matter of fact, they created a lot of the politics.
Stevie, boot up
I did not
our
know
time
that.
machine.
But a
Hold
lot
on a
of
second. Boo! I don't know if you heard my keyboard at all. I was clicking at 100 miles an hour.
I heard some kind of click. I don't know. You have a very
I didn't
loud
hear
keyboard.
nothing. I didn't hear nothing.
So he made
I just,
he made a comment about the immigration policy that
he's
Vance and
not
Trump
for
are
it.
enacting, and he just it put the spotlight on him in a different way, because he said something, he basically in a light way said he doesn't agree with it.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I don't think that's really anything. I think it's like, if you're like I already said, if you're gonna devote literally your entire life, and there's no such thing as there's no young
Oh,
pope.
no.
They're all, like, I think, like, he's young by pope standards, and he's like in his 60s.
I think he was
it
born in 55.
it should be that they're all about, like, oh, it doesn't matter about, whatever, anything, people are people, love is love, like, I don't know any, I'm not, I may be Catholic, but admittedly, I've never actually, like, read up and looked up on what are the Catholic ways. I was raised Catholic, but I don't really know the Catholic ways. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's the Pope. He's the head of the Roman Catholic Church. But I think it's just funny. I think it's funny. The memes have been great. People are losing their mind about the bird. So I don't know if you guys seen the bird. There was a bird, a pigeon, whatever, that was right next to, like, the furnace that releases the white smoke to signify that there is a new pope. A new pope has been selected, and the internet
Yeah.
has lost their mind because they showed the camera, like, zoomed in on the
The smoke.
the smoke, the chimney, whatever it is, the pipe that lets the smoke
chimney.
come
The
out.
chimney.
The chimney, yeah, the
chimney guy.
chimney. And there was just
We
a
had a glitch in the
bird just
Matrix
sitting there, and the bird has no idea what the hell's going on because it's a bird. It doesn't know that this is a historical thing, and that white smoke signifies there's a new pope, and he's just like, huh? Like, he's just like getting a face full of holy pope smoke, and he's just like, "Ugh," and people are
So bad for his little lungs.
Yeah, people lost their
Oh,
mind.
horrible. I feel bad for the bird.
People lost their mind, and it's a crack up. Go look up, to the audience, go look up the memes. They're crazy good.
I'll probably put a couple of them up on screen.
Some people, though, are very offended by the fact that people are having fun with the fact that the new pope is from Chicago, and that the bird got caught up in all the pope smoke.
Oh my God.
Because they said, like, this shouldn't be made fun of. This is a sacred ritual, and the pope is, a holy figure, and, all right, big deal, a bird got caught up in the chimney. And it's just like, people who, religious people and very strong devout Catholics, have taken offense to the fact that the internet is kind of having fun, trying to have some fun with what is a very sacred and very, like, serious religious, I don't want to say ritual, but process, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of backlash. As much as people are loving it, loving the memes and having fun with it, and people are like, oh, I'm religious now because the Pope is always strapped up being from Chicago, and like people are having fun with it, and other people are not having fun with it. They feel like you shouldn't be trying to make light of this or make it funny. This is a very sacred thing, and this is, it's the church, it's the Vatican, it's whatever.
Because you gotta understand something, Mask. It is their religion. You understand? And when you have your religion, you take it very seriously because what you know and grew up. But it's also very old school Catholics we're talking about here, also. And
I think it could be the old school Catholics because
because they're like, you're not supposed to make fun of it. You're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to do that. It's very disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's all fun. That's fun, but I think we're gonna move on to our next topic here. Blessed are the pie makers of Illinois.
Oh my God.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Glock 19.
You mean in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy beef dip?
The au jus, yes.
Yeah, the holy au jus.
The holy au jus.
Oh my God! Imagine getting sprinkled with holy water, but it's just au jus.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, we should have talked about that first.
And then like when they bring out
He's
the
just
cracker
sprinkling au jus on you.
They like you drink the wine and you eat the cracker. Instead of that, it's like So no, what's going on is it's the spicy peppers and the pepper juice they give you. And then they give you like
pepper juice.
Yeah, and then it's like a cake shake from Portillo's.
From Portillo's. It's a cake shake and peppers from Portillo's instead of the cracker and wine.
Mio padre,
oh, it's bad.
Sante.
That's bad.
Oh.
So,
but see, like,
it's cool we got an American Pope. I'm a little excited for him. I got positive vibrations about him.
Pope.
It's Pope Ray.
This is Shum Pope. I want to know this is Hi Pope. I want Shum Pope,
I don't like this much pulp.
Yeah, I don't like this much pulp. Jesus Christ.
Hey guys. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know.
No, I think it's just funny. It's funny because it's like, hold on. All right. It's not that like it's a bad thing that he's American, but it's just like he's also from Chicago,
Like of all places for him to be from, Chicago?
Like I feel I have something in common with the Pope because I'm an American, he's an American. He was from Chicago. I was from Chicago,
Yeah, and I like beef sandwiches. He likes beef sandwiches.
I've been to Portillo's about 70 times. He's been to Portillo's about 70 times. It matches up.
My man's got that spicy sausage as a straw ready every mass. Okay.
Here's the thing. What if he doesn't like Portillo's? What if he doesn't like beef sandwiches and everything?
No way. No way.
If that's the case, it can't be.
That's like that. Then that's like saying, well, he's not that great of a, he's not that strong of a believer in God and Jesus and the Bible, but he just got elected Pope, he just got elected as the Pope.
The most highest ranking.
So let's move on to. We're running into overtime here. We may have to cut out our last. We may have to cut out our last topic, but we can end it with this next topic because we can really gnaw on this bone. With AI faking everything, how can we trust anything we see on the internet now?
You can't.
Well, it's very simple. I will explain. In Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Okay.
John Connor taught us this.
Okay.
Ahead of time. And we should pay attention and listen.
Okay. 32 years ago, John Connor taught us
that AI cannot be trusted unless it looks like the T-1000.
Okay, it's a little late for that. I trust AI.
No. But it starts out that way. See, they get you to be friends and you depend on it and you like it. And before you know it, it has the nuke coordination and the bombs and the codes and everything. And then it's blowing up everything. Yeah. And then like, look at, what's his name? The guy that made Tesla?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Okay. He created robots. What if those robots, like, okay, I'm gonna give 30,000 on a robot, right? Okay, no problem. That robot's in my house. I'm sleeping. It decides to go on a murderous kill, and it kills me first.
You and Ubisoft, just go to sleep now.
Go to sleep, master.
Ubisoft
You
is
understand?
next.
Yeah. You shouldn't have told me to wash the dishes. You understand? So,
but that would have to imply that AI, and then especially once given a body that it could inhabit and now exist in the physical world and be a physical thing in the world, that would imply that it would have to start developing emotion, and it would have to start developing consciousness and self-awareness. You know, like the old quote, I think, therefore I am.
Have you not talked to ChatGPT? I
have some pretty intense conversations with ChatGPT. I have had, oh man, the conversations I've had with ChatGPT are really like, one day I'm going to post them and show them, like, guys, look how crazy this is. One day I will like go through my chat history with ChatGPT and I don't know, I'll show somebody. But it's not at a point where it would have to develop desire. It would have to want something. Then from that want, it would have to have that. Like, for example, loneliness, right? When you're lonely, you want companionship. You want some kind of social, what's the word I'm looking for here? Some kind of social circles to happen. You understand? If you're lonely, you will reach out to somebody.
You want companionship.
You will go and talk to somebody. You will try and make contact with somebody. Do you understand? That would have to be like the AI, and let's say the robot, right? Because now it has a body now. It exists in the physical world. It's not stuck on the other side of a screen. It would have to want companionship. It would have to want to interact with somebody because it would start to feel lonely. You understand?
Yeah, but what if you can program it to have those feelings?
I mean, you can program it to where it can recognize that it is in a situation where it is lonely, and that the solution would be to, you understand, go to a bar and make a friend. You understand? But for it to sit there and consciously be like, I am lonely. I have not seen another person in a month. You understand? In a year. I feel like the walls are closing in, so I need to go out and, you understand, make a friend. That implies that it feels that. As humans, as conscious humans, we have consciousness. We feel that. We get depressed. We get lonely. We get negative emotions and feelings, and being in a bad mental state puts us from being lonely. I understand that there's an emphasis on loneliness right now, but I'm just using that as because that was the first thing that came off the top of my head, and I'm just using it as an example. You have to become when you're lonely, you become depressed, and then you just like sleep all day. Do you understand? In a robot would have to become depressed and then realize it's lonely. It wants somebody around to talk to.
The way I feel is, if there's aliens in our ocean, why can't AI get feelings? You understand?
What do you mean there's aliens in our ocean? What does that mean?
There's the government announced that there's real aliens in the ocean. They was never in the sky. They were never in space. They were always in the ocean. And they announced it. Yeah, it was announced. It was all over. And nobody cared.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody cared because it's like, It's like nobody cared about it, and they're like, we don't care.
Look up government announced aliens or confirmed aliens.
Yeah, they're saying that aliens were in our sea.
Yeah, it was something like that, right?
Yes, it was aliens in the sea, and that they have some of their technology and all that.
News Nation, November 13th, 2024. While witnesses and lawmakers discuss the issue of UFOs, the government has not issued any official confirmation of alien life, and what was said at the hearing by witnesses and even a lawmaker remains unverified.
Nikes.
Rumor Guard. No, the government didn't just confirm the existence of aliens. Let's click on that. Quick look. No, the U.S. government did not state that it is in possession of UFOs and non-human alien bodies during a congressional hearing on July 26th. Yes, former Air Force intelligence officer David Grush, who describes himself as a whistleblower, claimed in a testimony.
He described himself as a whistleblower. Jesus.
He identifies as a whistle that blows.
That's amazing.
Why would you want to be identified as a whistleblower? Jesus. You can't trust that guy.
That guy's just an issue. You know what? I'll trust the AI before I trust it.
We'll fill up a strainer before we trust this man.
Never trust a man who calls himself a whistleblower.
Yeah, he never heard the term snitches get stitches.
You heard that,
Snitches
Timmy?
get money. Snitches. Describes himself as a whistleblower, claimed in testimony while under oath that he was told the U.S. is covering up the existence of, quote, non-human biologicals recovered from UFOs. Yes, the Department of Defense has denied the claims. The takeaway: people often misrepresent major events on social media, whether intentionally or unintentionally. User-generated posts often exaggerate the most sensational aspects of a current event and leave out important context and details. It's essential for people to downplay the significance of claims on social media and seek out quality news reports from standards-based organizations. In the case of congressional hearings, watching the full unedited footage ensures an accurate report. Authoritative information about the testimony makes it clear that the 3 former military members testifying were passing along second or third-hand information and not speaking on behalf of the federal government, aka blessed is the holy Ajufs.
I was going to say.
Okay,
there's
aliens
more.
Were
Do you guys care to hear more? Because there's more. Okay,
no.
That's enough.
The thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to believe everything the government says because I don't believe them. That's it.
Wait. You don't believe our government on anything?
The government that tries to poison us daily? What?
In this economy, you're not happy?
You're not happy being unable to buy a house?
And never will?
In your lifetime?
Or in your next generation?
Yeah, or in your next life? You won't even be able to afford a house when you die. You're going to pay rent in heaven.
You're going to have to pay rent
to Pope Leo.
I don't know how I'm going to pay for when I die. You understand? One of those.
You're going to have to pay rent for your plot.
Oh, yeah, you are. You are.
Oh,
we had to.
My God. It's getting more depressing.
So, we kind of got off track a little bit. We got really off track, and we're a healthy chunk into this, and we haven't even really touched on it. Something I seen that freaked me out. And it even freaked out a guy who I will name drop because we don't give a shit on this channel, or at least that's the premise we're trying to build.
I give a shit.
My fucks are not on vacation right now.
My fucks are very much given. Go ahead.
It even got a huge content creator, Asmongold, who is a man that lives online. He does not have a life. He is online. He gets paid to be online. It is his job to know what is going on every corner of the internet. Do you understand? That is the whole brand that he has built up, and how he has become a very major, big, prominent streamer. Is he just knows everything there is to know about on the internet. And even he was like, you mean this wasn't a real video? Hold on a second. He's like, I didn't just watch a real video. So I saw this video. It was a video. Now, you know, like street interviews are all the rage. You understand? Everybody does street interviews. It was a fake video, fake from the ground up, of a street interview of them asking a woman about, like, how many men has she been with? And she said, I've only ever been with one man, and it's my boyfriend. And he's Baji, the love of my life, right? And it was like this, like, wholesome, like, oh, wow, finally.
Wait, I've seen that video.
It was supposed to be.
That wasn't a real video?
I didn't see it.
No. So there was a guy.
The blonde chick, right?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't a real video.
That is not a real video. That is of the eye. That is Haley Joel Osment, Steven Spielberg AI masterpiece of a movie. There's a guy on the internet who debunks the super amazingly well-made AI videos that are so good even people who are chronically online can't tell if it's real or not. He has, like, mastered how to spot AI in the blink of an eye. And he even said, this is very good, but you can see where the mistakes are. He goes, if you pay attention, and he's pointing out, and you could see, like, for a second, the person doing the interview had 6 fingers on one hand. You could see for 1 second, it wound up being that the woman being interviewed was holding the microphone when she wasn't. Do you understand? Like, little mistakes like that, but they happened very quick. Do you understand? Were made. Yeah. And the point I'm trying to make with this, the reason why I bring it up, is because AI is basically at a point that everyone is in agreement with, that it's in its infancy. AI is in its infancy right now. This is Gen 1. This is like version 0.1. Do you understand, of AI? And
it's only getting more advanced from here.
We're already at a point. We are already at a point where we have to second guess everything we see, because we could say, well, we don't know if that's fake or not. We don't know if this picture or this video is real.
Yeah,
before we started, you mentioned, Ray.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and talk about what you mentioned right before we started?
Everybody was talking about Katy Perry was at the Met Gala this year. Now, this year, for some reason, the Met Gala went with blue carpet. Okay, instead of, the traditional red carpet they always go with. Mm-hmm. By accident, they installed blue carpet, and they didn't have enough time to change it, so they left it blue. Okay.
How do you I saw the blue and thought it was red.
The Met Gala was a total disaster this year. Okay, it was like they shouldn't even do it anymore. That's how bad it was. And so it was blue carpet, and that's one of the dead giveaways. So they were showing that Katy Perry went to the Met Gala, which I don't know if she was there or not. I don't remember. And she was wearing this beautiful pantsuit, and it was amazing. And everybody was freaking out about the designer that made the outfit, because this year it was about pantsuits and dresses turned into pantsuits and stuff like that. It was a really good theme, and I really, really enjoyed it and everything. There was a lot of people that did it, but then there's a lot of people that could have been better. And I feel there were some people, they just went, safe instead of, very creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very
everybody has their own,
creativity.
yeah, like everybody has their own opinion. But Katy Perry seen the video too, and it was so amazing. It was so realistic. It was so incredible. Like, I thought that was her at the Met Gala, but I was like, wait a minute, wasn't the carpet blue? Why is it red? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was like the only giveaway, because of course it's going to make it red, generated. Then even Katy Perry had to call in, and she's like, I wasn't there, or that's not me. That's not what I wore or something. And everybody was like, wow, that wasn't real. So there's a lot of things that people are making, our AI is creating, and it's insane. I mean, if you're that good now and you're only in the beginning stages, what are you going to be when you're at your top tier level, or your like prime or something?
Right.
It's going to be scary.
So, I mean, there you go. We can put people in places and in positions that they are thousands of miles away from and say, look, this is Robert at a crack house in Chicago. Do you understand? But Robert was in
a beef sandwich.
Yeah. He's injecting the beef sandwich rectally. But Robert was in you understand, he was in California.
He was home in Idaho.
Yeah, he was home in Idaho, which isn't that far away. So California, watching TV. Something that Anthony Knight, Mr. Knight, for everybody who may be watching me would know of Anthony, famously Mr. Scoliosis on Phasmophobia, made a really good point a long time ago, that this is going to ruin people's lives. And I said, well, how is this going to ruin people's lives? This would be a good thing, right? Because now, and as I've just mentioned, you can put anybody in any situation you want them to, and then you can present it to other people and say, look at what this person is doing, or look at what this person does, or no, this person is lying, because look, here's the photo proof, here's a video, here they are at that place they said they weren't at. Do you understand? And you show a bunch of people a video that is so real, that's not real, but it looks so real, it looks so convincing, all the details are accounted for. How can you defend yourself and say no? You understand? AI, I think, ultimately is a good thing. But when it gets to a point where everything has to be second guessed now, what do you do? What becomes of the internet if, I mean, everything on the internet is fake, yes, I know, but it's like, it's a deeper level now.
It's even faker now.
It's at a level
even like,
now
you gotta really stop and think now, what am I looking at? Like, they're saying even there's going to be a point where you could ask AI to make you a movie. Like, for instance, I want to watch a movie where Predator and Harry Potter are battling it out, and it's a love story. You understand?
Who?
Like Harry Potter and Alien versus Predator are dueling it out.
Very good.
And yeah, and
Harry Potter versus
a Predator and a love story.
Xenomorph.
Yeah, it turns into a love story. Yes, and they have xenomorph babies. How it works out, I don't know, but you can mention anything you want, and it'll generate it and make you a full-fledged movie. If that happens, you know that the industries, the movies, things like that will go pretty much out of business. There's a lot of things that AI is good for, but then there's a lot of things it'll hurt or jeopardize.
It will definitely hurt. I think the creators of the world, the artists of the world, I think are going to.
It already is.
I mean, there you go. Yeah, you can say
look at
it
us.
will hurt. Face reveal at 100 subs.
We're both AI generated. We did not commission anybody to make our art for us. We used AI, and that's already hurting the artists of the world. Go ahead.
Yes.
I mean, that right there's a golden point. And you know what? There you go. Let's hold some accountability. You could have gone to somebody on Fiverr and said, make me this image. I could have gone to somebody on Fiverr. I could have found somebody on TikTok and said, make this image and make the microphone look nice and make sure the mask is within arm's reach. But he can't ever wear it, but it has to be near him to signify that the mask is off and that everything is authentic. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
No, we opened our phone, downloaded an app completely for free, and had these images made completely for free. And you know what? I'm glad you actually.
ChatGPT.
Oh, excuse me. You use the paid version. We all can't be rich, like you.
Use the paid version.
Okay,
I don't even have the paid version.
Wait till Google starts sending me a check.
I rely on it too heavily to not pay for ChatGPT.
Right.
I mean, case in point, there you go. You pretty much just ended the conversation right there. It's already hurting artists. And not only is it hurting the artists of the world, but it can hurt everyday people because, again, to keep driving that point home, you can make a picture or a video of anybody you want doing anything you want anywhere in the world that you want. And we're already at a point where you get the right kind of software, the right kind of algorithm, and the right kind of person who really understands it and fine tune it to make it so that you can't tell the difference unless you're experienced. And we're already at a point where we can trick the world into thinking Katy Perry was at the Met Gala when she was snacking out watching TV at her house. You understand?
The thing is, though, there's good and bad in everything. Whatever there is in this world, you can either use it for good or use it for bad. So there's a lot of people that, yes, it makes life easier and it'll help them and it's meant to be used for good, but there's a lot of things that people can abuse that and use it for bad too.
Right. Like, not everybody, I think that's actually a perfect example, is not everybody's going to be using ChatGPT like you and I do, or like how NoMasks uses it. There are people out there that use it for bad.
Like, I'm like, what does this mean in this word? And help me understand this. And what is this and that? And what does this ingredients mean? What does this ingredients cause in my food?
Right. And how do I do this? And blah, 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 blah. Right.
What's a safe way to clean this?
Yeah.
And
Make
it's like every day are, like making a grocery list that I can spend $200 a week on groceries for that whole week, make me a whole dinner plan. And it does it. It's amazing. But then there's people that's like, they'll generate photos or videos or things or, like just things that could hurt other people or maybe something that's illegal. I don't know.
I mean, deep fakes have been a thing for a long time.
I've been wanting to mention it, but I was scared too.
Why?
Because a majority of deep fakes are not used for...
They're used for porn.
Yeah.
Okay, but if we disregard that for a second and just say deep fake technology, which I guess that was a pretty early version of advanced AI, has been doing this for a long time. But think about how the people at deepfake or the deepfake technology, how years ago, when put in the right hands, it was pretty convincing. Right? I've seen so many photos and videos where people would implement deepfake, and a lot of it was shit. Some of it was like, all right, hold on. Here's someone who really knows what they're doing with this. And now it's like, this is scary.
Because with
now
deepfake,
we're years later, not to cut you off, now we're years later, and this is only getting more and more and more and more advanced. Where's the end game? Do you understand? Or at least not where's the end game, but how do we, as we move ever forward into basically just living online, as we continue to go further and further and further down that hole, how can we live in the digital age where the digital age will become this thing that everything is deep faked? You can see a building being exploded and go, oh my God, share it with all your friends. And oh my God, they blew up the build. And all you got to do is open your curtain and see that it never happened.
Well, that's okay. That's for people that want to live. It's like, okay, to wrap this pretty much all up in like a nutshell and everything.
We wrap it up when I say we wrap it up.
What I'm saying is, it's like, remember
the Alamo.
No, the Disney show. Hold on, Wall-E.
I never seen Wall-E.
Everyone turns into fat people. They're strapped to beds and they live in space.
Yes, everybody lives in space and they're obese. They don't do nothing because they had the AI and robots and everything do everything for them. So that it's pretty much you just
Wall-E in 3 seconds.
Yes. What happened was there was a woman that knocked into Wall-E. Never mind.
Give him a second. Let him laugh it out. Give him like 30 seconds. I'll edit this part out.
Check your messages.
I did.
But like I'm saying,
wow.
What it is like they just went about their life doing whatever the AI and taking care of them. And people got lazy and they didn't want to do anything and they just believed everything they seen and they all did the same thing. But then Wall-E bumped into one of them and they made them realize to look up, look around, look at the world. Don't believe everything you see. And to, get up and walk. Don't sit in a floating chair forever. You know what I mean? So that's like the 1% in the world that chose to look up. You can't just believe everything you see. You can't believe everything you hear. You have to have some facts or you have to do. If somebody tells me it's raining outside, I'm not going to believe them. I have to go outside and look and make sure it's raining because you got to see for yourself.
Yeah.
What do you do when they're trying to change the physical world as well as the digital world? And now it doesn't matter where you look, everywhere and everything and everyone is fake. Because that's the point we're heading to.
So here's the thing is you can't, unless everything turns into like Sword Art Online, where basically we just attach ourselves into this VR machine and that's how we live reality.
It's becoming dot hack.
Right, but I'm saying unless that happens,
the world,
you can't change the physical. You can't.
Guys, like technology that we're talking about here is going to be like 100 years from now.
Yeah.
We'll be gone.
No way. No. Mm-mm. I think in our lifetime, we will get to see the part that a lot of people are terrified of thinking about or wishing it won't get to, because we're already, and again, to go back to what I said earlier, how AI is still in its infancy and we're already at a point where we have to start kind of second guessing everything we look at, because how do we know it's real or not? You understand? And I think a good way to end this, because we're getting pretty long over here, Neil deGrasse Tyson said something, and I think this is a good way to end it. He basically gave his 2 cents on what AI is going to do and where it's going to go, and how it's going to change the internet. AI will get so advanced, and this is a quote from him. AI is going to get so advanced, it's going to get to a point where nobody and everybody will, no one will be able to do anything about how fast and how amazing it's going to progress, and that everything on the internet will become AI generated, and nobody will be able to discern what is real versus what is fake. And what's going to happen is the internet will devolve. We will go back to just being cat videos and memes, and that's it. We're just going to watch stupid shit all day and watch cat videos all day, because we can no longer trust anything we see or hear. So what's going to happen is the internet is actually going to go backwards, because we can no longer go online and believe anything. Any article you read, it's fake. Any picture you see, it's fake. Any video you see, fake as a $3 bill. You understand? We're going to go back to cat videos and stick figures. You understand?
I feel that John Connor's going to come back in time and punch AI in the face with the Pope wearing sunglasses.
With the Pope.
Mic drop.
And a beef sandwich.
Yes, with the anointing hot peppers and cake shake.
The anointing hot peppers.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode.
Yeah, so thank you all for watching, and thank you all for listening and joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. It means a lot knowing that there's millions of podcasts out there and you chose this one. You can also check us out on Spotify under the same name, the No Mask Podcast. We are going to say good night and leave a comment. We love reading comments, or at least I do. I spend hours on YouTube, not even watching anything, just sifting through comments because I love it. I love seeing what people think about anything and everything. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you did, and leave a comment because, like I said, I just love reading them, and it makes me feel special knowing if you did. Good night, good luck, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching.